Hi, how are you today? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Maybe you're in the car line waiting for your kids to get them out of school, or maybe you're just enjoying the afternoon. But I've been doing a lot of yoga lately. And through that process, when I do a lot of yoga and really take the time to quiet and still my mind, I have a lot of awakenings and realizations and epiphanies, because that's just what happens. That's just what happens through the practice of yoga. And if you're just signing on live, please do me a favor and say hi, because I would love to know who I'm speaking to, because maybe we might be able to actually engage in this conversation here. So let me start from the beginning, and I'll do my best to be really quick about this. I've been reading a book recently. It's the Cinderella series by Anne Rice. By the way, did you know Anne Rice has written, hey Teresa, did you know that Anne Rice actually years ago wrote a erotic series about the idea of the story of Cinderella years ago under a pen name? Well, I've been reading that book lately, and to be honest with you, I'm so deeply disturbed by the book that I really don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through it, because it's so deeply and profoundly disturbing. So let me tell you why. And if you're hearing a sound in my background, I think my neighbor has a lawnmower, so I apologize. And if you're just signing on, please say hi. I'd love to know who I'm talking to. But I really don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this series, because let me just tell you the idea behind it. And I have a point. Go down the rabbit hole with me for a second, okay? So the idea is, imagine, you know the story of Sleeping Beauty. So instead of like the prince coming in to save Sleeping Beauty, to wake her up with a kiss, to take Sleeping Beauty home, to make Sleeping Beauty his queen, imagine that he woke Sleeping Beauty up and is now taking her to his kingdom to make her his sex slave. Yes, you heard it. Sleeping Beauty became a sex slave. And in the premise of this story, the idea to get the slaves to be able to do what they want them to do. Hey, Seda, love to see you. Say hi, girl. Love to know who I'm talking to. To get the sex slaves to do what they want them to do, they always carry around a paddle, and they literally beat them into submission. They say that they beat them into softness, because once they have been beaten so thoroughly, their bodies, and it happens unfortunately, their bodies relax and soften, and they are able then to do the sexual acts or the things that the lords and so on want their slaves to do. Okay, so now keep that in mind, right? Okay, so the idea of being beaten into softness. So, segue here. I've been doing yoga, I've been taking some time. Hey, Sherry. I've been taking some time to actually be a yoga student quite regularly lately, and I have a shoulder injury. And I was in a heart-opening hatha yoga class with my dear, dear friend, Shanti Nolan, the other day. And she was having us do these deep stretches into our shoulders. And I was finding myself, as I was breathing so deep into places that have been so tender and so sore on me lately, that I was just like, the tears were falling, and I was releasing and I was relaxing, because the intention behind the class was to really get ourselves to relax deep and to breathe deeply. And the whole idea behind her message was inside, as we exhaled, to literally imagine squeezing our pelvic floor all the way up through our abdominals, as if we are hugging ourselves from the inside. Okay, so hugging ourselves into tightness instead of like contracting, like what you're used to in exercise. Contract. It's the whole idea of hugging yourself internally. So, okay, so that was in my mind, right? So the next day I'm in yoga and I'm laying in Shavasana, and the messages start to come in, and I'm starting to think about the juxtaposition here. Okay, I have a point. Keep coming with me, okay? So the juxtaposition of, I come from the gym world, right? I come from the gym world, fitness. And when people go into a yoga class in the gym, it's almost like the yoga instructor has something to prove. Like, how hard can I kick their ass? Can I show them how hard and how challenging yoga really can be? It really is a workout. And so people come into class and you're wanting to give them a workout, which is really great. But have you ever been in a yoga class? And my gym rats can identify with me here. Have you ever been in a yoga class where it was so intense that at the end during Savasana, you're just like, and you completely relax and melt. And it's beautiful and you have this glorious release. But what I realized in that moment in Shavasana is that I and many other yogis that I know have been beating ourselves to a point of relaxation. How hard can I push myself? How hard can I get to that limit so I can relax? Yeah. But then have you ever been with your lover or ever been with someone who you really care about and you just lay there and you hold each other, and through the holding and through the deep breathing and through the connecting, your muscles slowly start to relax and release from the muscles and from the bones, and the soft tissue starts to give way. And all of those things that many of us come to for yoga, which is the stress reduction, the release, the ease, it's available to us without being beaten. It's available to us without having to tear our bodies up to be able to get ourselves to the point of that. So what I just ask you, as you start to think about going into a yoga practice, if it's because you're wanting to relax and de-stress, have you considered the idea and the difference of being beaten into submission versus being loved and being held into release? Because there's a difference. And I think ultimately what it boils down to is our worthiness. Like, do we feel worthy enough to be loved so tenderly that we can relax into it? Or do we feel like we've been bad and we need to be punished? And if we need to be punished, we got to be beating ourselves before we have the right to relax. And there's nothing wrong with using yoga as a great workout. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm asking you is when you approach your practice, what is your intention behind it? And based on your intention will determine the quality and type of class that you're really needing. So if you're needing stress reduction, if you have injuries, if you're needing to heal, maybe you need to consider allowing yourself to be loved. Maybe you need something gentler, because I bet you've beaten yourself up enough already. You don't need a teacher to beat yourself into submission. Your mind, like the stuff that goes on between here, can be violent enough. So I ask you to consider the two different ways to look at it. Are you worthy? Do you love yourself enough to slow down, to take the time to relax into it? If this served you well, please do me a favor, comment below. If it made you think about something in a different way, comment below. If you feel like this message needs to be shared, please share it with your friends. And if you're interested in starting the practice of yoga, I would love, 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 love to be your guide. Thank you so much. Peace, love, and fairy dust to you, my friends. Namaste.